3 in the morning, and I'm sitting at my kitchen table with a glass of cheap whiskey, watching my wife Jenna slip through our front door like a teenager sneaking past curfew. She's carrying her gym bag, the same one that's been at the office for the past 2 weeks. Her hair's messed up in that particular way that has nothing to do with working late at the hospital. "Hey, honey," she whispers, trying to sound casual. "Didn't expect you to be awake." I take a slow sip of the whiskey. It burns, but not as much as watching your marriage crumble in real time. "Long shift tonight?" "You know how it is. Emergency surgery ran late." She's not even looking at me, already heading toward the stairs. I'm exhausted. I bet. I stand up and she freezes. "Jenna, we need to talk." "Can't it wait until morning? I'm really tired." "No, it can't wait." I walk over to the counter where I've placed her gym bag, the one I retrieved from her car an hour ago, the one she forgot to lock. "How was your evening with Marcus?" The color drains from her face. Marcus Brennan, her coworker at the hospital. The guy who understands her soul according to the text messages I've been reading for the past month. The same Marcus whose cologne is currently clinging to her scrubs. "I don't know what you're talking about." But her voice cracks, and we both hear it. I unzip the gym bag and start pulling out items one by one. A change of clothes that she never wore to work, a hotel keycard from the Riverside Inn, and the piece of evidence that made my stomach turn. A receipt for dinner at Romano's, the restaurant where we had our first anniversary dinner. 2 entrees, 1 bottle of wine, charged to her credit card at 9:30 tonight. "Jenna, sit down." "Damon, I can explain." "Sit. Down." She perches on the edge of our couch like she's ready to run. Maybe she should be. I've been a software engineer for 15 years. I solve problems for a living. I analyze data, identify patterns, and implement solutions. For the past 6 weeks, I've been treating my marriage like a corrupted system, trying to debug what went wrong. Tonight, I realize the problem isn't a bug. It's a feature. My wife has been lying to me with the same casual efficiency most people use to check their email. "How long?" I ask. "Damon, please." "How long, Jenna?" She's crying now, but they're not tears of remorse. They're tears of someone who got caught. 3 months. 3 months. Our son Tyler's birthday party was 3 months ago. I remember Marcus being there, helping with the decorations, making jokes with Tyler. I remember thinking what a good friend he was to our family. "Do you love him?" She looks up at me, and for the first time in months, she's completely honest. "He understands me better than you ever will." The words hit me like a physical blow. Not because they're cruel, but because they're probably true. I don't understand how someone can look their husband in the eye every morning, kiss him goodbye, and then spend the evening in another man's bed. I don't understand how someone can attend their child's school play while texting their lover about weekend plans. I don't understand how someone can build a life with one person while secretly planning a future with someone else. But Marcus understands her. Good for him. I walk to the closet and pull out the suitcase I packed 3 hours ago. It contains everything she'll need for the next few weeks: clothes, toiletries, medication, and a printed copy of Marcus's address that I pulled from her GPS history. Then he'll understand when you move in with him tonight. Jenna stares at the suitcase like it's a bomb. "You can't be serious." I've never been more serious about anything in my life. "Damon, we can work this out. We can go to counseling. I'll end things with Marcus." "No, you won't, and I don't want you to." I set the suitcase down next to her. "You made your choice 3 months ago. I'm just making it official." She's on her feet now, and the tears have stopped. In their place is something I've never seen before: panic. "You can't just throw me out. This is my house too." "Actually, I can. Check the deed. The house is in my name only. Wedding gift from my parents, remember? You insisted we keep everything separate for tax purposes." Her face goes white. "What about Tyler?" "What about him? You think I'm going to let you uproot our son so you can play house with your boyfriend? He's my son too. Then you should have thought about that before you decided being a mother wasn't exciting enough for you. I walk to the kitchen and pick up my phone. Speed dial number 3, Jim Morrison, locksmith. He's been changing locks for cheating spouses for 20 years. He doesn't ask questions, and he works nights. Jim, it's Damon Vossel. I need you to come out tonight. Yes, I know what time it is. 40 minutes? Perfect. Jenna is standing in the middle of our living room looking lost. You called a locksmith? I called a locksmith. Damon, please, we can fix this. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. I finish my whiskey and set the glass down carefully. Jenna, you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Every text message, every lie, every night you came home smelling like another man, those were choices. 3 months of choices. She tries a different approach. Think about Tyler. Do you really want to put him through this? I am thinking about Tyler. I'm thinking about what kind of example we're setting. I'm thinking about whether I want to raise a son who believes it's acceptable to lie to people you claim to love. The locksmith's van pulls into our driveway, headlights cutting through the darkness. Jim Morrison is a thin man in his 60s who's seen every variation of this scenario. He nods at me and starts unloading his equipment. This is insane, Jenna says, but she picks up the suitcase. No, this is logical. You want to be with Marcus? Go be with Marcus. You think he understands you better than I do? Let's test that theory. She's at the door now, suitcase in hand. What am I supposed to tell people? Tell them the truth. You fell in love with someone else. Your reputation stopped being my problem the moment you decided our marriage was negotiable. Jim finishes with the front door and moves to the back. Professional, efficient, final. Jenna stands on our front porch, and I can see her trying to process what just happened. 30 minutes ago, she was sneaking back from her lover's bed, thinking she was in control of her double life. Now she's homeless. Damon, please, just give me one more chance. I close the door. Through the window, I watch her pull out her phone, probably calling Marcus, expecting him to rescue her. But Marcus lives with 2 roommates in a studio apartment downtown. Marcus drives a 15-year-old Honda and splits dinner checks. Marcus is great for sneaking around with, but he's not equipped to handle a woman who just lost her house, her marriage, and her carefully constructed life. She's about to learn the difference between understanding someone and actually supporting them. I wake up at 7 to the sound of my son Tyler asking where Mommy went. He's 6 years old, and he's standing in my bedroom doorway holding his favorite stuffed elephant, looking confused. Mommy had to go stay somewhere else for a while, I tell him. Why? Because Mommy has been lying to us for 3 months. Because Mommy thinks her happiness is more important than our family. Because Mommy made choices that have consequences. Because sometimes grown-ups need space to figure things out. It's not the whole truth, but it's not a lie. Tyler accepts this explanation with the resilience of childhood and asks if he can have pancakes for breakfast. I make him pancakes and try not to think about how many Saturday mornings Jenna spent texting Marcus while Tyler and I ate breakfast together. At 9 o'clock, my phone starts ringing. Jenna's sister Lisa calling to scream at me. You threw my sister out in the middle of the night? What kind of man does that? The kind who found hotel receipts in her gym bag. Long pause. That doesn't give you the right. Actually, it gives me every right. This is my house, Lisa. Check the paperwork. She has nowhere to go. She has Marcus. Isn't that what she wanted? Another pause. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. There's a difference. Lisa hangs up on me. 20 minutes later, Jenna's mother calls with the same script. Then Jenna's best friend Mara, who helped coordinate the affair by providing alibis and cover stories. Each conversation follows the same pattern. Initial outrage, followed by uncomfortable silence when I mention the evidence, followed by accusations that I'm being unreasonable. None of them offer to take Jenna in. At 10:30, I'm in my front yard raking leaves when Mrs. Patterson from next door approaches the fence. She's 73 years old and knows everything that happens on our street. "Quite a commotion last night," she says. "Sorry if we woke you." "Oh, I was already awake. Insomnia, you know. Saw the locksmith van." She pauses, studying my face. "Saw Jenna leave with a suitcase, too." Mrs. Patterson has been married for 52 years. She's seen enough of life to recognize the signs. She's staying elsewhere for a while. "I see." Mrs. Patterson nods slowly. "You know, I always wondered about that Marcus fellow. Seemed to visit quite often when you were at work." My rake stops moving. "What?" "Nice young man, always very polite, but it struck me as odd, him stopping by so frequently when you weren't home. Sometimes he'd stay for hours." I feel something cold settle in my stomach. "How often?" "Oh, once or twice a week for the past few months. Always when you were at the office and Tyler was at school. I assumed it was work-related, but—" She trails off delicately. "Marcus has been in my house, in my living room, probably in my kitchen, maybe in my bedroom. While I was debugging software and attending meetings, my wife was entertaining her lover in our home. Mrs. Patterson, did you ever see them leave together?" "A few times. They'd take separate cars but head in the same direction, toward downtown. Downtown, where the Riverside Inn is located, where they've been meeting for 3 months while I thought Marcus was just a friendly coworker who occasionally helped with hospital emergencies. I thank Mrs. Patterson and go inside to call my attorney. Robert Chen has been handling legal work for my family for 10 years. He's efficient, discreet, and completely unsentimental about marriage dissolution. Damon, I need to ask some questions, and I need you to answer them honestly. Have you documented the affair? Text messages, GPS data, credit card receipts, hotel records. Good. Any joint assets I should know about? House is in my name only. We have joint checking and savings accounts, joint credit cards. Her car is in her name. Mine is in mine. I'm filing emergency motions this afternoon. We'll freeze the joint accounts and credit cards pending asset division. She'll have access to her individual accounts and her salary, but she won't be able to drain your shared resources. How long does that take? I'll have the paperwork filed within 2 hours. The freeze will be effective immediately. 2 hours. In 2 hours, Jenna's credit cards will stop working. Her access to our joint savings will be suspended. The financial safety net she's been taking for granted while she explored her options with Marcus will disappear. I hang up and call Tyler's school to update his emergency contact information. Jenna is no longer authorized to pick him up without my explicit permission. The school secretary asks if everything is all right, and I tell her we're going through some family changes. At noon, I drive to Tyler's school for lunch. We sit in the cafeteria, and he tells me about his art project and his friend Jake's new puppy. He doesn't ask about Jenna, and I don't volunteer information. Children are remarkably adaptable when adults stop creating chaos around them. My phone buzzes with a text from Jenna. "We need to talk," I respond. "We talked last night. You made your position clear." "Damon, please, I can't access our accounts." "Correct. My attorney filed emergency motions this morning." "You can't just cut me off financially?" "I'm not cutting you off. You have your salary and your individual accounts. You just can't access the money you were planning to share with Marcus." She doesn't respond for 20 minutes. When she does, it's a different tone. I need to get some things from the house. "Make a list. I'll pack them and leave them on the porch." "I want to see Tyler." "Tyler is at school. You know his schedule." "After school, then." I consider this. Tyler loves his mother, affair or no affair. But I'm not ready to explain why Mommy suddenly lives somewhere else, and I'm not willing to let Jenna use our son as leverage in whatever game she's playing. Supervised visits only until we establish a formal custody arrangement. "You're being ridiculous. He's my son." "He's our son. And you should have considered that before you decided being a wife and mother wasn't fulfilling enough." She stops responding. At 3 o'clock, I pick Tyler up from school. As we're walking to the car, I see Jenna's Honda in the parking lot. She's sitting behind the wheel watching us. When Tyler sees her, he waves enthusiastically and starts running toward her car. I catch up and put my hand on his shoulder. "Hey, buddy, Mommy can't visit today." "Why not?" Jenna gets out of her car. She looks terrible, exhausted, stressed, wearing the same clothes from last night. "Hi, baby," she says to Tyler. "Mommy, are you coming home?" Jenna looks at me over Tyler's head. Her eyes are red from crying, but there's something else there. Anger. "Not today, sweetie, but I'll see you soon, okay?" Tyler hugs her, and I see Jenna's facade crack slightly. For a moment, she looks like the woman I married. Vulnerable, loving, genuine. Then she straightens up and the mask returns. "Damon, we need to discuss custody arrangements." "We will, through our attorneys." "Our attorneys? I don't have an attorney." "Then I suggest you get one." She stares at me for a long moment. "You're really going to do this? You're going to destroy our family over one mistake?" "I'm not destroying our family, Jenna. You already did that. I'm just refusing to pretend otherwise." Tyler is looking back and forth between us, starting to sense the tension. I pick him up and carry him to my car. "Daddy, why is Mommy sad?" Sometimes grown-ups get sad when things change. "Is she sad because she can't live with us anymore?" Smart kid. "Yes, buddy, she's sad about that." "Are you sad too?" I buckle him into his car seat and consider the question. Am I sad? Or am I just tired? Tired of wondering where she really is when she works late. Tired of analyzing every conversation for hidden meanings. Tired of feeling like a stranger in my own marriage. "I'm sad that things had to change," I tell him, "but sometimes change is necessary." He accepts this with the matter-of-fact wisdom of childhood and asks if we can stop for ice cream on the way home. We stop for ice cream. That evening, after Tyler goes to bed, I sit down with my laptop and begin documenting everything. As a software engineer, I understand the importance of thorough documentation. Evidence needs to be organized, verified, and preserved. I start with the text messages I recovered from Jenna's phone last month. She thought she was being careful, but she never changed her backup password, and all her messages sync to our shared cloud account. 3 months of conversations with Marcus, ranging from innocent workplace chatter to explicit planning of their secret meetings. March 15th. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Told Damon I'm working late again." March 22nd. "Hotel room 247, same time as usual." April 3rd. "He's taking Tyler to his parents this weekend. We'll have the whole house." April 18th. "Sometimes I think about what it would be like if we didn't have to sneak around." May the 2nd. "He suspects something. We need to be more careful." May 10th. "I love how you understand me. He never really has." Each message is a small betrayal, but together they form a comprehensive picture of deception. I organize them chronologically and cross-reference them with our family calendar. Every late shift corresponds to a message about meeting Marcus. Every girls' night out was actually a hotel reservation. Next, I examine the financial records. Our joint credit card shows a pattern of charges that makes sense now, but seemed random at the time. Dinner for 2 at restaurants I've never been to. Hotel charges on nights when Jenna claimed to be working. Gas purchases near Marcus's apartment building. The GPS data from her car is the most damning evidence. I installed a tracking app 6 months ago for safety reasons. Jenna often worked late shifts, and I wanted to know she arrived safely. The location history shows 17 visits to Marcus's apartment complex, each lasting 3 to 4 hours. The timestamps match her claimed work schedule perfectly. I'm creating a spreadsheet to organize this information when my phone rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Is this Damon Vossel?" The voice is male, nervous. "Who's asking?" "This is Marcus Brennan. I think we need to talk." I set down my pen and lean back in my chair. Do we? Look, I know you're angry, and you have every right to be, but Jenna is really struggling right now, and where is she? Long pause. She's staying with a friend. Which friend? I don't think that's relevant. Marcus, let me explain something to you. My wife told me last night that you understand her better than I ever will, so I'm giving you the opportunity to prove it. She's your problem now. It's not that simple. Actually, it is exactly that simple. You wanted her, you've got her. Congratulations. Damon, please. She made a mistake, but she loves you. She loves Tyler. She wants to come home. I laugh, and it's not a pleasant sound. She wants to come home? Then why is she staying with a friend instead of ending her relationship with you? Silence. Marcus, are you still there? Yes. Let me ask you a question. When Jenna told you she loved you, did you believe her? Of course. When she told you her marriage was over, did you believe that too? Yes. When she told you I was controlling and didn't understand her, did you believe that? Damon, because she told me she loved me too. She told me our marriage was strong. She told me you were just a friend from work. So either she was lying to me or she was lying to you. Which do you think it was? Another long pause. Marcus, here's what I think happened. I think Jenna got bored with her life and decided you were an exciting distraction. I think she told you whatever you needed to hear to keep you interested. And I think she planned to keep both of us on the hook indefinitely until she decided which option was more appealing. But now she has to choose, and she's discovering that her backup plan isn't as solid as she thought. How's that working out for you? The line goes quiet for almost a minute. She can't stay with me, Marcus finally admits. Why not? I have roommates. It's complicated. So you're good enough for hotel rooms and secret dinners, but not good enough for actual cohabitation. Interesting. It's not like that. What's it like, Marcus? He doesn't answer. Let me tell you what I think it's like. I think you enjoyed being the exciting secret, but you never actually planned for this to become real. I think you like the idea of stealing another man's wife, but you don't want the responsibility of actually taking care of her. You don't understand? I understand perfectly. You wanted the fun parts of a relationship without any of the actual commitment. Well, congratulations. You've got commitment now. She's homeless, financially limited, and completely dependent on you. How does that feel? I hang up before he can answer. 20 minutes later, Jenna calls. You had no right to talk to Marcus like that. I didn't call him. He called me. He's upset. Good. He should be upset. His actions have consequences. Damon, please. I know I made mistakes, but we can fix this. I'll do whatever it takes. What you'll do is file for divorce. My attorney will send you the paperwork tomorrow. I don't want a divorce. What you want stopped being my concern when you decided our marriage vows were optional. Think about Tyler. I am thinking about Tyler. I'm thinking about raising him in a stable environment where people tell the truth and honor their commitments. You're being cruel. I'm being consistent. You made your choice, Jenna. You chose Marcus over our family. Now you get to live with that choice. I choose you. I choose our family. No, you don't. You choose whoever seems most convenient at the moment. That's not the same thing. She's crying again, but I feel nothing. 3 months of lies have used up my capacity for sympathy. Where am I supposed to go? That's between you and Marcus. You two understand each other so well, I'm sure you'll figure something out. I hang up and return to my documentation. By midnight, I have a comprehensive file containing every piece of evidence of Jenna's affair. Text messages, GPS data, credit card records, hotel receipts, and a detailed timeline of her deception. I also have something else, a strange sense of clarity. For months, I've been trying to understand what was wrong with our marriage, what I had done to drive Jenna away, how I could fix whatever was broken between us. Now I understand that nothing was broken. Jenna simply decided she wanted something different, and she was willing to lie and cheat to get it while keeping me as a safety net. The problem was never our marriage. The problem was that I was married to someone who views commitment as a convenience rather than a promise. Tomorrow, I'll send all of this documentation to my attorney. We'll file for divorce, establish custody arrangements, and begin the process of legally ending what Jenna already ended emotionally 3 months ago. But tonight, I'm going to check on my son, who's sleeping peacefully in his bed, surrounded by stuffed animals and children's books. Tyler didn't choose any of this, but he'll be fine. Children are resilient when the adults in their lives stop creating chaos. I close my laptop and go upstairs. Tyler is sprawled across his bed, one arm wrapped around his stuffed elephant. He looks peaceful, innocent, untouched by the adult complications swirling around him. I adjust his blanket and turn off his nightlight. Tomorrow, I'll start building a new life for us, one based on honesty, stability, and clear boundaries. It won't be the life I planned, but it will be better than the life I was living. Jenna wanted someone who understood her better than I ever could. I hope Marcus enjoys the education. 3 days later, I'm at my office debugging a network security issue when my phone buzzes with a call from Tyler's school. The principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, sounds concerned. "Mr. Vossel, I need to inform you that your wife attempted to pick up Tyler this afternoon." My stomach tightens. What happened? "Our records show that you updated Tyler's emergency contacts earlier this week, requiring your explicit permission for Mrs. Vossel's visits. When she arrived, we explained the situation, and she became quite upset." Define upset. She raised her voice, demanded to speak with me directly, and insisted that there had been some mistake. She seemed distressed. I close my laptop and grab my keys. "Is Tyler okay?" "Tyler is fine. He's in the library with Mrs. Chen. But Mr. Vossel, I think you should know that several other parents witnessed the incident. Mrs. Vossel was crying and making accusations about you preventing her from seeing her son." Perfect. Jenna is now creating scenes at Tyler's school, ensuring that our family drama becomes public entertainment for other parents. "I'll be there in 15 minutes. I arrive at the school to find Tyler sitting calmly in the library, working on homework with the librarian. He looks up when he sees me and smiles. "Hi, Daddy. Mrs. Chen helped me with my math problems." "That's great, buddy. Ready to go home?" As we walk to the car, Tyler mentions casually, "Mommy came to school today, but she seemed sad again." "Did you talk to her?" "A little bit. She asked if I missed her, and I said yes. Then she started crying, and the principal came." I buckle Tyler into his car seat, trying to process this information. Jenna is falling apart, and she's doing it in front of our 6-year-old son. "Tyler, did Mommy say anything else?" "She said she was sorry and that she loves me very much. Then she said some grown-up words that I didn't understand." "What kind of grown-up words?" "She said Daddy was being mean and that she was going to fix everything. But she was crying, so I don't think she knows how to fix it." Out of the mouths of babes. That evening, after Tyler goes to bed, I call my attorney with an update. "Robert, Jenna showed up at Tyler's school today and caused a scene when they wouldn't release him to her." "Documented?" "The principal witnessed it, along with several other parents." "Good. We'll add that to our custody filing. Any threats or concerning behavior?" "Not threats exactly. But she's becoming increasingly unstable. I'm worried about what she might do next." "Damon, I need to ask you something, and I want you to think carefully before you answer. Do you believe Jenna poses any physical danger to Tyler?" I consider this question seriously. Jenna has never been violent, never shown any signs of wanting to harm Tyler. But she's also never been in a situation where she's lost control of her life so completely. "I don't think she would intentionally hurt him, but her judgment is clearly compromised right now." "Understood. I'm going to expedite our custody motion. We'll request temporary sole custody with supervised visitation pending a full evaluation. How long does that take? 2 to 3 weeks, assuming no complications. After I hang up, I spend an hour researching custody law and supervised visitation procedures. I discover that supervised visits typically take place at neutral locations with trained monitors present. The visiting parent has limited physical contact with the child and no opportunity for private conversation. It seems extreme, but then again, showing up at your child's school and creating a public scene seems extreme too. At 10 o'clock, my doorbell rings. Through the window, I see Jenna standing on my porch, looking disheveled and desperate. I open the door but don't invite her in. "We need to talk," she says. "No, we don't. Damon, please. I know you're angry, but this has gone too far. I made a mistake, but you're destroying our family." "I'm protecting our family. There's a difference." "By keeping me away from my son? By freezing our accounts? By filing for divorce without even trying to work things out?" I step outside and close the door behind me. Tyler doesn't need to hear this conversation. "Jenna, let me ask you something. When you were planning your hotel meetings with Marcus, did you think about Tyler?" "Of course I thought about Tyler. When you were lying to me about working late, did you consider how that might affect our son if I found out?" "Damon, when you told Marcus that you loved him, did you think about what that would mean for the family you were betraying?" She doesn't answer. "You didn't think about Tyler. You didn't think about me. You didn't think about anyone except yourself and what you wanted. So don't stand on my porch and lecture me about destroying our family. You destroyed it 3 months ago. I'm just refusing to pretend otherwise. I want to come home. This isn't your home anymore. It's my son's home. Yes, it is, and he's safe here, with a parent who doesn't lie to him." Jenna's composure finally cracks completely. "You sanctimonious bastard. You think you're so perfect, but you're cold and controlling, and you never understood what I needed. What you needed was a husband who would ignore your affair and pretend everything was fine while you figured out which man you preferred. Sorry to disappoint you. I ended it with Marcus." This stops me. "When?" 2 days ago. It's over. I choose you. I choose our family." "Why did you end it?" She hesitates just long enough for me to understand. "He ended it with you, didn't he?" Her silence confirms it. "Let me guess. Marcus decided that being responsible for a homeless, financially dependent woman wasn't as exciting as sneaking around with someone else's wife." "It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. You're not here because you realized you made a mistake. You're here because your backup plan fell through and you need somewhere to go." "That's not true." "Jenna, if Marcus had offered to move in together, if he had offered to support you financially, if he had offered to help raise Tyler, would you be standing on my porch right now?" She doesn't answer, which is an answer. "Go home, Jenna." "I don't have a home." "That's a problem you created. Figure it out." I go back inside and lock the door. Through the window, I watch Jenna sit in her car for 20 minutes, probably calling people who won't answer, trying to find someone willing to take in a woman who just lost everything due to her own choices. Eventually, she drives away. The next morning, I wake up to find 3 missed calls from Mara Trenner, Jenna's best friend and affair enabler. I don't call back. At lunch, Mara shows up at my office. "Damon, we need to talk about Jenna." "No, we don't. She's staying on my couch and she's falling apart. She barely eats, she cries constantly, and she keeps talking about how she ruined everything." Sounds accurate. "You need to give her another chance." I lean back in my chair and study Mara's face. She looks almost as tired as Jenna did last night. "Mara, let me ask you something. When you were helping Jenna coordinate her affair, did you think about what would happen when I found out?" "I was just trying to help her be happy." "When you were providing alibis and cover stories, did you consider that you were helping her destroy her marriage?" "She said you two were already having problems. When you rented hotel rooms for her, did you think about Tyler?" Mara shifts uncomfortably. "Jenna said she was going to leave you anyway. She said the marriage was already over. But she didn't leave me, did she? She kept living in my house, spending my money and playing happy family while she explored her options. And you helped her do it. I thought I was helping a friend. You were helping a friend lie to her husband and child. There's a difference. Mara looks down at her hands. She's really sorry, Damon. She knows she made a terrible mistake. She's sorry she got caught. That's not the same thing. Can't you at least talk to her? She's desperate. Desperate enough to be honest. Desperate enough to take responsibility for her choices. Or just desperate enough to say whatever she thinks I want to hear? Mara doesn't answer. Here's what I think happened, Mara. I think Jenna got bored with being a wife and mother. I think she decided Marcus was more exciting than her actual family. I think she planned to keep both options open indefinitely, while she decided what she really wanted. And I think you helped her do it because it made you feel important to be part of her secret. That's not... But now Marcus is gone. Her reputation is ruined. She has nowhere to live. And she's discovering that actions have consequences. So she's rewriting history, pretending this was all just a mistake instead of 3 months of deliberate deception. I stand up and walk to my office door. Mara, you can help Jenna by encouraging her to take responsibility for her choices and build a new life for herself. Or you can help her by enabling her victim narrative and encouraging her to blame me for the consequences of her own actions. But either way, it's not my problem anymore. Mara leaves without another word. That afternoon, my attorney calls with an update. Good news. The court granted our motion for temporary sole custody. Jenna will have supervised visitation rights, 2 hours per week at the family court building. What about the divorce proceedings? Her attorney filed a response requesting reconciliation counseling and a 6-month separation period instead of immediate divorce. Absolutely not. I assumed you'd say that. We'll proceed with the divorce filing. Given the evidence of adultery and the custody situation, this should be relatively straightforward. How long? 4 to 6 months, assuming she doesn't contest it aggressively. 4 to 6 months of legal proceedings, custody evaluations, and financial negotiations. 4 to 6 months of Jenna trying to manipulate the system to avoid the consequences of her choices. But at the end of it, Tyler and I will be free to build a life based on honesty and stability instead of lies and betrayal. I can live with 4 to 6 months. 2 weeks into the supervised visitation arrangement, I receive a call from the family court monitor. Her name is Patricia Williams, and she's supervised thousands of custody visits over the past decade. Mr. Vossel, I need to discuss some concerns about Mrs. Vossel's visits with Tyler. I'm at my desk, reviewing code, but I immediately give her my full attention. What kind of concerns? Mrs. Vossel has been using her visitation time to question Tyler about your home life, your daily routine, and whether you've been dating anyone. She's also been telling him that this separation is temporary and that she'll be coming home soon. I close my laptop. What exactly has she been saying? Yesterday, she told Tyler that Daddy was confused and angry, but that Mommy was going to fix everything and they would be a family again. She also asked him if you've had any visitors at the house, particularly women. How is Tyler responding? He seems confused and somewhat anxious. He's started asking me questions about why his parents can't just talk to each other and work things out. I rub my temples, feeling a headache building. What are my options? I can document these incidents and recommend modified visitation terms. Specifically, I can recommend that Mrs. Vossel be prohibited from discussing the custody situation or asking Tyler questions about your personal life. Do that. There's something else, Mr. Vossel. Mrs. Vossel has missed 2 scheduled visits in the past 2 weeks. When she does attend, she often seems distracted and emotional. Yesterday, she spent 15 minutes crying in the bathroom. Is she under the influence of anything? Not that I can detect, but she appears to be struggling emotionally. Has she been receiving any counseling or psychological support? Not that I'm aware of. After I hang up, I call my attorney to report the visitation issues. Robert listens carefully and makes notes. "We'll file a motion to modify the visitation terms," he says. "No discussion of custody arrangements, no questioning Tyler about your personal life, and mandatory counseling for Jenna before visits can continue." Can we do that? Given the monitor's report and the pattern of inappropriate behavior, yes. The court's primary concern is Tyler's well-being, not Jenna's convenience. That evening, I'm helping Tyler with homework when he asks, "Daddy, why does Mommy cry when she sees me?" I set down his math workbook and consider how to answer this honestly without damaging his relationship with his mother. "Mommy is sad because she misses living with us." Why can't she just come home? Because sometimes when grown-ups make certain choices, they can't undo those choices easily. What choices did Mommy make? How do you explain adultery to a 6-year-old? How do you tell your son that his mother chose another man over her family? Mommy decided she wanted to spend time with someone else instead of spending time with us. That hurt Daddy's feelings very much. So now we live separately. Tyler processes this information with the literal thinking of childhood. Like when I chose to play with Jake instead of Tommy, and Tommy got mad? Something like that, but more serious. Did you tell Mommy you were sorry for being hurt? Tyler, when someone hurts your feelings on purpose, you don't apologize for being hurt. You protect yourself so it doesn't happen again. Oh. He thinks about this for a moment. Is Mommy going to say sorry? I don't know, buddy. What do you think? She says she's sorry to me, but she seems more sad than sorry. Smart kid. There's a difference between being sorry you hurt someone and being sorry you got caught. The next day, I receive an unexpected call from Jenna's sister, Lisa. "Damon, I owe you an apology." This is not what I expected to hear. For what? For calling you cruel and unreasonable. For assuming this was all your fault. I wait for her to continue. "Jenna has been staying with me for the past week, and I'm starting to understand why you reacted the way you did." "What do you mean?" "She lies, Damon. About everything. Small things, big things, things that don't even matter. She told my neighbors that you threw her out because she gained weight. She told my mother that you were having an affair. She told Tyler's school that you were preventing her from seeing him out of spite." Lisa. But the worst part is that she doesn't seem to understand why any of this is her fault. She talks about Marcus like he was something that happened to her, not something she chose. She talks about the affair like it was a mistake instead of 3 months of deliberate deception. I don't respond, because there's nothing to say. Yesterday she asked me to call you and tell you that she was in the hospital, thinking that would make you feel sorry for her and take her back. Is she in the hospital? No. She wanted me to lie for her. When I refused, she got angry and accused me of not supporting her during the hardest time of her life. I'm sorry she's putting you in that position. Damon, I need to ask you something, and please be honest. During your marriage, did Jenna lie to you regularly? I think about this question carefully. Not about big things, as far as I knew. But yes, she lied about small things constantly. Where she went, who she talked to, how much money she spent. I thought it was just, I don't know, normal relationship stuff. It's not normal. I've been married for 12 years, and my husband and I don't lie to each other about anything. Why are you telling me this? Long pause. Because I think you did the right thing, and I wanted you to know that someone in her family recognizes that. After Lisa hangs up, I sit in my office staring at the wall. For months, I've been second-guessing my decision to end the marriage so abruptly. I've wondered if I was too harsh, too unforgiving, too quick to give up on someone I once loved. But Lisa's call confirms what I've been slowly realizing. The affair wasn't an aberration in our marriage. It was the logical culmination of a pattern of deception that I had been ignoring for years. Jenna didn't suddenly become someone who lies and manipulates people. She was always someone who lies and manipulates people. I just didn't want to see it. That weekend, Tyler and I go to the hardware store to buy supplies for a treehouse. As we're loading lumber into my truck, I see a familiar figure across the parking lot. Marcus Brennan is putting groceries into his Honda, looking tired and stressed. When he sees me, he freezes. Tyler notices him too. "Daddy, isn't that Mommy's friend from work?" "Yes, it is. Should we say hi?" I consider this. Tyler doesn't know about the affair, doesn't understand Marcus's role in destroying our family. To Tyler, Marcus is just someone who used to visit occasionally. "No, buddy, we're busy with our treehouse project." But Marcus is walking toward us, and I can see from his expression that he wants to talk. I put my hand on Tyler's shoulder. "Tyler, can you sit in the truck for a minute? I need to talk to Mr. Marcus about grown-up stuff." Tyler climbs into the truck and starts looking at the treehouse plans. Marcus approaches cautiously. "Damon, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I need to say something. Make it quick." "I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it." I study his face. He looks genuinely remorseful, which is more than I can say for Jenna. "Are you sorry you had an affair with my wife, or are you sorry you got caught?" "I'm sorry I had an affair with your wife." "Why?" "Because I knew she was married. I knew she had a child. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I did it anyway." "Why did you do it?" Marcus looks down at his feet. "Because she made me feel important. Because she chose me over someone who seemed to have everything I wanted. Because I was selfish and stupid. And now? Now I realize that someone who will lie to her husband will also lie to her lover. Everything she told me about your marriage, about you, about her feelings, I don't know what was true and what was manipulation. This is probably the most honest conversation I've had with anyone involved in this situation. Marcus, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "When you ended the relationship, how did Jenna react?" "She begged me to reconsider. She said she would leave you for me, that we could be together openly. When I told her I couldn't handle the responsibility, she got angry and accused me of using her." "Did you use her?" "Yes, and she used me too. The difference is that I'm admitting it." I look through the truck window at Tyler, who's absorbed in studying the treehouse blueprints. My son deserves better than parents who lie and manipulate and use each other. "Marcus, I'm going to give you some advice. Stay away from married women. Find someone who's actually available and build something honest with them." "I will." "And stay away from my family. Tyler doesn't need to be confused by seeing you around." "Understood." Marcus walks back to his car, and I get in the truck with Tyler. "What did you talk about, Daddy?" "We talked about making better choices. Like choosing to build a treehouse instead of watching TV?" "Exactly like that." We drive home and spend the afternoon measuring lumber and planning our construction project. Tyler is excited and focused, asking thoughtful questions about angles and support beams. He's not thinking about his mother's affair or the custody battle or the divorce proceedings. He's thinking about building something solid and permanent with his father. That evening, after Tyler goes to bed, I call my attorney with an update about the visitation issues and my conversation with Lisa. "It sounds like Jenna's support system is starting to recognize the reality of the situation," Robert says. "What does that mean for our case?" "It means she's less likely to have credible character witnesses if she contests the custody arrangement. It also means she's more likely to accept a reasonable settlement rather than fight this in court." "What would a reasonable settlement look like?" "You keep the house, primary custody of Tyler, and your individual assets. She keeps her car, her individual assets, and gets limited visitation rights. You split any remaining joint assets 50-50, minus the money she spent on the affair." "Can we actually subtract the affair expenses?" "In this state, yes. Adultery is grounds for asset forfeiture, especially when marital funds were used to finance the affair. How much are we talking about? Based on the credit card records you provided, approximately $8,000 in hotel charges, restaurant bills, and gifts over 3 months. $8,000, the price of destroying a marriage and traumatizing a child. Proceed with the settlement offer, I tell him. I'll have the paperwork ready by Monday. After I hang up, I walk through my house, Tyler's and my house, and think about the future we're building together. It's not the future I planned when I married Jenna, but it's honest and stable and free from deception. In 6 months, the divorce will be final. Tyler and I will have legal clarity about our lives, and Jenna will have to figure out how to build a new life based on truth instead of manipulation. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not hurt anymore. I'm just tired of dealing with the consequences of someone else's choices. But those consequences are almost over. The settlement conference takes place on a gray Thursday morning in November. I arrive at Robert's office to find Jenna already there with her attorney, a tired-looking woman named Patricia Stone, who specializes in damage control for difficult divorce cases. Jenna looks terrible. She's lost weight, her clothes don't fit properly, and she has the hollow-eyed look of someone who hasn't been sleeping. When she sees me, she attempts a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Hello, Damon. Jenna. We sit at opposite ends of a conference table while our attorneys review the settlement terms. The division is straightforward. I keep the house and primary custody of Tyler. She keeps her car and personal belongings. We split the remaining joint assets minus the $8,000 she spent on her affair. My client finds the asset forfeiture provision punitive, Patricia says. My client finds adultery punitive, Robert responds. The state agrees with him. Jenna speaks up. Damon, please. I know I made mistakes, but taking away money I need to rebuild my life seems cruel. I look at her across the table. You spent $8,000 of our money on hotel rooms and dinners with another man. That money was supposed to be for Tyler's college fund. It wasn't that much. Robert slides a spreadsheet across the table. Hotel charges, restaurant bills, gifts, and miscellaneous expenses related to your affair, itemized by date and vendor. Total, $8,437. Jenna stares at the document, and I see her realize that her lies have been thoroughly documented and quantified. What about visitation? Patricia asks. Supervised visits 2 hours per week, pending completion of a psychological evaluation and mandatory counseling, Robert says. That's excessive. Your client used visitation time to interrogate the child about his father's personal life and to make promises about reconciliation that she can't keep. The court monitor recommended the restrictions. Jenna looks at me with something approaching desperation. Damon, Tyler is my son. I love him. Then prove it by getting the help you need to be a stable parent. I don't need psychological evaluation. I need my family back. Jenna, you destroyed your family. The evaluation is to determine whether you're capable of being a healthy part of Tyler's life going forward. She starts crying, but they're angry tears rather than sad ones. You're punishing me for falling in love with someone else. I'm protecting my son from a parent who lies compulsively and makes decisions based on impulse rather than responsibility. I never lied about anything important, Robert interrupts by placing a thick folder on the table. Text messages, GPS records, credit card statements, and witness testimony documenting 3 months of systematic deception. Would you like to review the evidence? Jenna's attorney puts her hand on her client's arm. Jenna, I think we should accept the settlement terms. I want joint custody. Based on what? I ask. Based on your decision to have an affair? Based on your missed visitation appointments? Based on your emotional manipulation of our son? Based on your inability to take responsibility for your choices? Based on the fact that I'm his mother? Being a mother is more than biology, Jenna. It's about putting your child's needs before your own desires. It's about being honest and reliable and stable. When have you demonstrated any of those qualities in the past 6 months? She doesn't answer. Patricia Stone reviews the settlement terms one more time and nods to her client. Jenna, this is a fair offer given the circumstances. I recommend you accept it. And if I don't? Robert leans forward. Then we go to trial. Your affair becomes public record. Your lies are exposed in open court. Your missed visitation appointments and inappropriate behavior during supervised visits become part of the official record, and you'll likely end up with less than what we're offering today. Jenna looks around the table like a trapped animal. How long do I have to decide? 24 hours, Robert says. The meeting ends, and I watch Jenna leave with her attorney. She moves like someone carrying a heavy weight, shoulders hunched, steps uncertain. I don't feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for Tyler, who will grow up with a mother who chose her own desires over her family's stability. But Tyler will be fine. Children are remarkably resilient when the adults in their lives stop creating chaos. That afternoon, I pick Tyler up from school, and we go home to work on the treehouse. We've been building it for 3 weeks, and it's nearly finished. Tyler hands me nails and holds boards while I measure and cut. He chatters about his day, his friends, his upcoming school play. He doesn't ask about the settlement conference or the divorce proceedings. He's learned to trust that I'll handle the adult complications while keeping his life stable and predictable. At 6 o'clock, my phone rings. Jenna's attorney. Mr. Vossel, my client accepts the settlement terms. All of them? All of them. She'll complete the psychological evaluation and begin counseling next week. And the asset division? Accepted as proposed. I hang up and look at Tyler, who's painting one of the treehouse walls with careful concentration. Tyler, can I tell you something important? Sure, Daddy. The grown-up problems between Mommy and me are almost finished. Soon we'll have clear rules about everything, and life will be more predictable. Will Mommy be happier then? I hope so, buddy. But whether Mommy is happy or sad isn't something we can control. We can only control whether we're honest and kind and responsible. Are we honest and kind and responsible? We try to be. Then we're doing a good job. Yes, we are. 2 weeks later, I receive the final divorce decree in the mail. Our marriage is officially dissolved. I have primary custody of Tyler with decision-making authority for medical, educational, and religious matters. Jenna has supervised visitation rights contingent on completing counseling and maintaining stable housing. The house is mine. Tyler's college fund has been replenished from our joint savings. Jenna has moved into a studio apartment across town and started working extra shifts to cover her expenses. According to Lisa, Jenna is attending counseling sessions and seems to be making progress toward accepting responsibility for her choices. She stopped blaming me for the consequences of her affair and started focusing on building a new life for herself. I hope that's true for Tyler's sake. He deserves a mother who can be honest with him and put his needs before her own desires. But whether Jenna becomes that person or not, Tyler will be fine. He has a stable home, a consistent routine, and a parent who tells him the truth and keeps his promises. On Christmas morning, Tyler and I sit in our living room opening presents. The tree is smaller than the ones Jenna used to insist on, but Tyler doesn't seem to notice. He's excited about his new books and building sets and the bicycle we assembled together. At 10 o'clock, Jenna arrives for her scheduled Christmas visit. She looks better, healthier, more stable, less desperate. She brings Tyler a thoughtful gift and doesn't ask any inappropriate questions about our home life. How's the treehouse? She asks Tyler. It's finished. Daddy and I built it together. Do you want to see pictures? Tyler shows her the photos we took of our construction project, explaining each step with pride. Jenna listens carefully and asks appropriate questions. That's really impressive, Tyler. You and Daddy did a great job. She doesn't make any comments about missing out on the project or being excluded from Tyler's activities. She focuses on Tyler's accomplishment rather than her own feelings. It's progress. After her visit, Tyler and I make lunch together and talk about his plans for winter break. He wants to read all of his new books and practice riding his bicycle and maybe start planning a garden for spring. Daddy, do you think Mommy is getting better? What do you think? She seemed less sad today, and she didn't cry at all. That's a good sign. Do you think she learned how to make better choices? I hope so, buddy. People can change if they work hard at it. Are you still angry at her? I consider this question carefully. Am I still angry? Or am I just tired of thinking about the whole situation? No, Tyler. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just focused on building a good life for us. I think we're doing a good job with that too. Yes, we are. That evening, after Tyler goes to bed, I sit in my living room reading a book and listening to the quiet sounds of our house. The dishwasher running, the furnace cycling on, the old floorboards settling. 6 months ago, this house was full of tension and secrets and unspoken resentments. Now it's peaceful. Tyler and I have established routines based on honesty and mutual respect. We tell each other the truth, we keep our promises, and we take responsibility for our choices. It's not the life I planned when I married Jenna, but it's a good life. Maybe a better life than what we had before, when I was constantly trying to decode hidden meanings and wondering what was really going on behind Jenna's carefully maintained facade. My phone buzzes with a text message from an unknown number. Thank you for giving me the chance to earn back Tyler's trust. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm grateful. Jenna. I read the message twice, then delete it without responding. Jenna is right. She doesn't deserve another chance. But Tyler deserves a mother who can be honest with him. And if Jenna is finally learning how to be that person, then her second chance isn't about what she deserves. It's about what Tyler needs. Time will tell whether Jenna's progress is genuine or just another manipulation. But either way, Tyler and I will be fine. We've built something solid together, a relationship based on truth instead of deception, stability instead of chaos, commitment instead of convenience. Jenna told me that Marcus understood her better than I ever would. She was probably right. I never understood how someone could choose temporary excitement over permanent commitment, how someone could risk everything stable and good for something secret and ultimately meaningless. I still don't understand it, but I understand something else now. Understanding someone and being able to trust them are completely different things. And trust, once broken, can't be rebuilt with explanations or apologies or promises of change. Trust has to be earned through consistent actions over time. Maybe Jenna will earn Tyler's trust back someday. Maybe she'll learn to be the mother he deserves, but she'll never earn mine back, and that's perfectly fine. I don't need to trust her to co-parent effectively. I just need to trust myself to protect Tyler and make good decisions for our family. And I do trust myself. For the first time in years, I trust my own judgment completely. Tyler and I are building a good life together, one honest conversation and one kept promise at a time. We're building something that will last, something that can't be destroyed by